What's going on, people? CP3 live in the lab. I know it's been a while. It's been about 3 weeks since I've been on your feed, bringing you the best sports content around. But with no sports around, it's really nothing for us to report. So I figured I'd jump on with draft day right around the corner, starting on Thursday. Redskins with the number 2 pick. Huge pick coming. New regime, new coach, new culture at Ashburn, and we're going to talk about any and everything Redskins related tonight. Be sure to call in if you got the time. I know you do because you're stuck in the house like everybody else. So call into the True Radio Network hotline, 347-884-9299. It's Sports on the Hill podcast, live on True Radio Network with CP3, bringing you some of the best DC sports coverage around, even when there's no sports to talk about. But like I mentioned, we have the draft coming up. I'm going to touch on a couple of issues right now. I've been very quiet going through all of what's been going on because it has affected me personally also, financially wise, not health wise. I'm doing well. I hope everyone else is doing well. Hope you're taking the precautions, wearing your gloves, wearing your mask, going out only when you have to. I'm an essential worker, so I go out there and do what I have to do, trying to make the money to pay the bills, and unfortunately I know there's some folks that can't do that right now. So my prayers are with everybody. Hopefully everybody's coping in what's going on. I got some folks that's the virus has hit their family closely. There's family that's lost lives. So I hope everyone is being safe. Take it serious. I'm not going to get into all the political stuff that's going on right now because there's no time for it. Let's just make sure everybody's doing well and taking care of themselves and living the right way. That's all that matters right now. But I'm not going to get on the depressing side of it because, as I mentioned, we got the 2020 NFL Draft coming up this Thursday, where the NFL is adopting the NFL Virtual Draft, where it's going to be more online, more social distancing and stuff like that, which is setting a good precedent for what's going on right now. So it's definitely going to be entertaining. But this time, normally, unfortunately, we would be having baseball season. The Nationals would be raising the banner of the 2019 World Series Championship that they, won in Game 7. I was reading a couple of articles, and some folks are for the proposed MLB possible empty stadium, Arizona, Florida. But Ryan Zimmerman, lifetime Nat, great player, even better person. He said I don't agree with it being away from your family for 3 to 4 months at a time. He has a baby on the way, and he doesn't want to be away from his family for that long. So I just think that, it's going to be a touchy situation going forward because with so much stuff flying out there, you don't know what's true, what's false. I say precaution is the best way to look at it, and I wear my protective equipment when I'm out doing my job. So, better safe than sorry is my point. But I know most of you are fiending for sports just like I am because the last couple of weeks they've been re-showing the Capitals Stanley Cup run from 2018, and they've been showing the Nationals 2019 run. Hope you guys tuned into the Zoom that the Nationals players actually did during the rebroadcast last week. Robbie shared it on the page. Shout out to Robbie. I know you're probably sharing this feed to all the Redskins groups. Don't worry. We're going to talk Redskins. Give me a second. We got to talk some DC sports. So bear with me. I'm going to just touch on a couple of things before we get into the Redskins talk. And as I mentioned, the True Radio Network hotline is always open, 347-884-9299. Any comments, questions, if you get pissed off at something I got to say, if you agree with something I got to say, feel free to chime in, call in. You can come in on a Facebook Live feed. Want to say what's up to Qatar. Appreciate you. What's up, Daryl Grant, Super Bowl champ. Appreciate you checking me out, man. What's up, Jamil? What's going on, Robert? Yeah, it's definitely going to be an interesting show. I would love to have folks call in and give their opinions. I know it's a lot of varying opinions on this team going forward, but I have always an optimistic view, and with Rivera coming in, doing what he's doing, bringing in his regime, which I know a lot of folks get upset saying that it's Carolina North now, but think about it. He was in a similar situation with Carolina when he picked up a team that was 2-14, had a top pick. They got Cam Newton, took that team from 2-14 to a Super Bowl appearance. Granted, they didn't win, but isn't that what Redskins fan base has been asking for? This team to get through the playoffs and actually make it back to another Super Bowl. So I'm liking Rivera. At first, I wasn't too sure about the move, but sitting back, looking at some of the moves he's made, things that he's done, things that he said, I'm very impressed with him, and I have nothing but positive things to say going forward for this team. Let's go ahead and jump into it. I'm not even going to talk about none of this other stuff because everybody want to talk sports. Let's talk sports. All right, the draft starts on Thursday, the 23rd, and goes to the 25th. We know the first round will be broadcasted live. Go through the Redskins picks real quick. First round, second pick. We all been clamoring. Some folks say they're going with the quarterback. Some folks saying they're going with Chase Young. I'm definitely a Chase Young fan. And as you all know, I don't follow college, so I can't really give you a quality recap on any of these college players. All I can do is listen to our experts. And I just saw DujunneaB just text me. I didn't get a chance to check it, but hopefully he'll be able to call in because he has a busy schedule also. He's taping his show. Make sure you check it out. But I'm going to go ahead and just jump on the number 2 pick. I'm hoping they take Chase Young, especially with them going to a 4-3 base, still being flexible, doing 3-4 and hybrid situations. I believe bringing on this talent, along with this already young foundation and talented front seven that they have, can only make this team better, especially with a young quarterback that's trying to find his way, especially going to be learning a new offense for the second year in a row. They're going to lean on the defense. They're going to need to lean on the defense. The defense is going to have to perform, get pressure on the quarterback, force turnovers, and help the offense, get on track. We've seen this over and over again. Unfortunately, we saw a lot of the Jay Gruden regime because he didn't know what the hell he was doing, but now you're bringing in a new coaching staff, new playbook, new philosophy, young quarterback. They're going to lead on the defense. The defense, I think they're going to be okay with Jack Del Rio calling things. He was Rivera's boy when they went to Carolina, and you've seen the numbers. I'm not even going to go over the numbers. But, all right, that's enough about Chase Young. Unless anybody wants to call in and chime in that actually seen him play. I've watched tape. I'll watch highlights. I'll watch footage since we have nothing else to watch. But I'm impressed with this young man. I think that he's definitely going to be an asset to this team. The only issue is with him being a hometown guy, is he going to get sucked into the negative DMV, some of the negative DMV mentality? His friends hang around as all of those folks, social media. I have confidence that him, Haskins, and this coaching staff will take care of that, wouldn't have any issues. But you never know with social media, and especially with some of this fan base, that things can get overly dramatic on social media. Just ask Rashawn Breeland, but he done found his way to Kansas City, Super Bowl champion, and he just re-signed with them 2 weeks ago. A lot of folks was asking would he come back here. We talked about it on the free agent show when Big Hurt called in. And we said it was highly unlikely he would be back here just because of one of the factors of the fan base and all the Twitter wars he had with some of the fans. So let's move on. Third round pick is number 66. No second round pick. We all know that. Fourth round, they have 2 picks, 108 and 142. Fifth round, they have 1 pick, 162. Sixth round, they have 1 pick, 216. And seventh round, they have 1 pick, 229. Now, we're going to go ahead and talk about the elephant in the room, or should I say the silverback in the room, Trent Williams. There's a lot of talk that he will be traded on draft day. There's been a couple of rumors. I can't remember what team it was. I'm thinking I want to say Detroit, but I can't absolutely say that. But there were rumors that they were offering a fourth, a fifth, a third, and a left tackle for Trent Williams. Is that credible? I don't know. One of the sources I saw from was Ian Rappaport. Y'all know how I feel about him after a couple of years ago when he made up some news. So I haven't really seen anything else linking him to any other team. But there's a good chance he will be traded on draft day for the Skins to get additional picks and maybe even a player, which I would prefer to get a player and picks. So they want a second. You heard Big Hurt on the show previous said that Cleveland offered a third. Redskins aren't budging. They want a second at least, or maybe they'll settle for a package deal, some 4s, a 5, maybe a 3 and 4 and a player. Who knows? But be on the lookout for first night of draft night. I don't know. You might see the Redskins come up with a second-round pick. Who knows? There's a lot of desperate teams out there for a left tackle. And don't get it twisted. I've never been a Trent Williams hater. I just want this whole saga to be over with. It just don't add up to me. I didn't talk about it. I've been on the record. You can go back and check it out. I just want it to be undone and over with. We don't need that negativity, that press with a new regime coming in, especially coming off a 3-13 season. We just want to get if we have a football season. You can't even say that's definitely going to happen with what the state of things right now, but hopefully there will be a football season going forward. And you want to see this team improve, especially from a 3-win season. That's just basic. Let's get into some of the needs and wants of this team going forward. In my opinion, this team has holes to fill, but there's talent on this team as long as you have the right guy pushing the buttons and leading this team in the right direction. I didn't feel they had that with Jay, even though I was trying to be optimistic and hoping that the light would come on, but unfortunately it didn't. And we are where we are. My man Bill Callahan took over, did what he did, and like I said, 3-13. Oh, hey, what's up, Anna? I'm gonna read some of the comments. I miss doing the shows too. Fortunately, it's no damn sports to talk about, so I'm trying to get some content out there. That's why I want folks, get off your chest what you got to get off your chest, because I know a lot of folks got some pent up frustrations right now. What's up, Sif Lord? Appreciate you in the building, man. Let's see who else. What's up, Robbie? Said you saw the glitch on the test drive. Hope the real one goes on. Oh, this was the glitch. Oh well. Yeah, that's what they doing. They're troubleshooting, making sure everything is good to go for Thursday night. So hopefully it will be good to go. I didn't check that out, but I know you always on top of it, Robbie, on the technical aspect. Like I was mentioning, Trent Williams trade possibly, hopefully, God willing, and the Redskins get something decent in exchange for him. Another issue with this team, tight ends. Jordan Reed, gone. Vernon Davis, retired. Jeremy Sprinkle, the only veteran that's been with this team. I believe they picked up a couple of tight ends in free agency. I can't even remember his name. I posted it on our page, so make sure you go check out the page. I'm drawing a blank here because I didn't want to go into too much detail on the tight end situation. I was going to go gloss over all the positions, and I'm going to go ahead and do that now. Offensive line, definitely. Linebackers, tight ends, of course, safety, cornerback, and you got to get a backup quarterback. Linebackers, you got the Reuben Foster. He's still a question mark. Cole Holcomb played well. John Bostic re-signed. They did some quality things. And look, we got our first caller. Like Sith Lord is on the line. I haven't had Sith Lord. No, I know Robbie's had some shows with Sith Lord on. So I'm going to go ahead and bring on Sith Lord and see what he got to say tonight if my computer decides to cooperate. Sith Lord, you in the building. What's going on, man?
Hey, what's going on? Sith in the building. Just wanted to check up on you, see how things were going. Listening in tonight. Want to tell you something real quick. That's why I'm buzzing in. People need to be very careful with what these rumors are that circulate like a week or two before the draft. This always takes place. Player A is going to be traded, or Team A is going to trade down or trade up, or Team C is looking at another player. People need to calm down. Okay? People need to calm down, chill out, have a drink, have a smoke, whatever. You hear me so far, bro?
Yeah, you good. You know how Redskins, some Redskins fans are, which I'm not mad at because, it's been a frustrating, 20 plus years. And ironically, I was watching the 18 plays Redskins special of the Super Bowl victory over the Broncos last night. So that's ironic. We ended up talking about Super Bowl and the Redskins. But yeah, a lot of folks are frustrated and I understand it. So that's why I'm not mad. But when you have a new regime coming in, you can't carry the same baggage in with a new coach. You at least got to give him a chance to get the team on the field before you saying the team sucks and he sucks.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I want to see what this team can do after the draft. You know, we have new coaching. Now, you got some people in these groups that are very impatient. You know, I think that the impatient fans, I'm going to address the impatient fans. These are the people that are saying, oh, go get Tua, like, right now at number 2. Come on, dog. Come on. All right. Injury-prone, great. Just like other players in the league. I'm not even going to make the positions. You have a bunch of players in the league that are injury-prone, that spend a lot of talent, but the problems that they're injury-prone. But the same people that are Tua are the same. Also on WJFKKK, as Big Hurt calls them, like Haskins, whatever. To bring up social media as well in this rant as well. Y'all need to calm down. The pick will either be Chase Young, which I'm saying is about an 80% happening. I think it's about an 80% chance of us getting Chase Young. Or if they decide to go with Simmons, I'll make that as a 20% chance. But I still think the pick is definitely Chase Young, more than likely. Unless who?
Say that again. You starting to fade in and out a little bit. Big Dan, you might want to try to call back in. I keep the board open for you. You were starting to fade in and out a little bit. But I agree. Definitely, I feel that Chase Young is going to be the pick. Big Hurt has pretty much said that, yeah, he's definitely going to be the pick. And he's one of our sources. He's one of the folks that come on. And like I said, he's been right about 98% of the stuff that he's given me to put out there. So I'm already sold. I think that it's the right move to make. Tua, like I say, I don't follow college, so I'm not really sure what to do. I know, he's coming off an injury, but I'm not going to say I'm sold 100% on Haskins, but I like what I saw with his progression going throughout the season once he got, with the first team and actually learned to practice with the players that he was actually going to play with on the field, because we knew that Jay Gruden hadn't even learned to practice with the first squad or even really, get acclimated to the playbook when he threw him in there against the Giants. And we saw him progress. We still saw some of the issues that he started with, but what's 6 to 7 starts when you're coming in from college, you're a rookie, and you didn't have a fair shake to start with. So I don't have anything bad to say about Haskins. They say he's a film guy. He's in there studying, and they're trying to get better and learning from the mistakes that he made in the previous, starts. And we've talked about it over and over. This is the most pivotal time for a young quarterback. Black, white, high round pick, low round pick, whatever. When he got the first year to the second year, you sit down with the quarterback coach and you go over every snap of every game that he played in. And they critique it. They look at the footwork, look at the mechanics, look at the reads, look at the defense. So he's learning stuff every day. Granted, social distancing, he might not be as hands-on as it was before, but you get what I'm saying. He's going to improve. And now you have a true coach that doesn't have an ego, that's trying to make a name for himself as a offensive guy that wants to curve the team and curve the playbook to his team instead of the team to his playbook. The team to the playbook instead of the playbook to the team. Everything is going to be different. You're not going to see the same issues we saw before with inconsistencies, team only playing 3/4 of a game, or looking defeated or winded because of weak practices or a soft training camp. So there's a lot of things that's going to change under this regime that folks have to give a chance to see what happens. You're spouting off your opinions on what you feel, but these folks are professionals and do their job for a reason. If you knew more than them, you would be doing their job, but you're doing your job. So just sit back, ride it out, and let's see what happens. Let's see if we got Sif back on the line. Let me see if I can get him back on and finish his thoughts before we move on.
Okay, cool.
All right, there we go. There you go. Sif coming in clean now.
Yeah, I'm going to hit you up real quick. Here real quick. Day 3 is what draft back. You know, get winning like the 5th or, you know, in the latter rounds. Just relax. As you said, well, you spoke very well on it. You were, you know, it's going to be different this year. Okay? We are not going to have what we had the last several years with Camp J. Thank God. You know? Thank God for that.
Yeah, we're actually going to see a professional training camp now that actually blood, sweat, and tears and folks out there putting it all on the line and fighting for a job instead of just being given a job.
As I said, all I'm asking people to do is be patient. Just be patient. Don't expect to win the Super Bowl this year.
Too late.
But also, measure your expectations, though. If you measure your expectations like you'll like the end result. And you'll understand it's going to take a few years for this team to develop. We're developing a core right now. And Haskins is working with the coaches. Things. And they probably camps in Ohio State and looked at those two. Just to show the overall progression for him.
You're starting to break up a little bit again, Sif.
All right, man. I'm going to buzz out of here. Great show. Much love. How you guys doing, though, to say the least?
All right, bro. I appreciate you calling in, man. I'm going to go ahead and get back on it, man. I'm going to put you back on Listeners Lounge, and I'm going to get back to some of these topics that I'm going to talk about. As I mentioned, you can always call in just like Sif did at 347-884-9299. We talking anything and everything Redskins. Let's get back to the list that I made. Yeah, I made a whole list of things I want to talk about. So I'm hoping that you guys are tune in, chime in, call in with any things that you want to get off your chest. I know we all feeding for sports right now, so why not get it off your chest when you got a chance? Another thing, Ryan Kerrigan. We've heard that he was looking to restructure his contract because he wanted to stay a lifelong Redskin, which I have no problem with. I'm just hoping. Well, I'm not even going to say hoping. With Jack Del Rio running things, I know there's going to be some diversity. I know there's going to be a lot of different nuances to this defense. Just stop putting him always on the right side. Put him over the guard. Put him over the center. Put him on the left side sometimes. You gotta mix it up for these offensive linemen. If they know where he's coming from each and every time, they're going to chip him. They're going to bring the running back over there. They're going to have the tight end over there so he doesn't get a clean run at the quarterback. And you have so much other talent on this squad, you have to utilize it. You have to be more active with them. We've seen the talent on this defense when they were in the 3-4 that I felt like sometimes they were holding him back. We talked about how Montez Sweat was dropping back more than he was rushing the passer. Ryan Kerrigan, and we mentioned over and over again through, different defensive coordinators of always having him on the right side. One of the positions I mentioned we've had issues with since the untimely passing of Sean Taylor is safety. Landon Collins, strong safety, boom, good. I'm sold there. But the free safety position, still haven't been able to fill that in. Monte Nicholson, gone. I can't remember the free agents they picked up. We talked about it so long ago. We talked about it. But you still need that young guy back there that can cover ground, cover tight ends, and force turnovers. Because as I mentioned before, the defense is going to have to be the strong point of this team with a young quarterback and a new offense coming in. Scott Turner, we talked about that earlier in the season, off season. But I like I've been looking at some of the Carolina games, and I'm not really mad at his offense. It's more of his daddy, West Coast-ish, short to medium to long, taking shots, play action, a lot of dump offs to the running back, a lot of passes to the tight end and the flat, which is not a bad thing, especially for a young quarterback. You want to get a ball out of his hand quick. You want to make the plays quick, precise, easy for him, transition in. And, I just got to text my man DujunneaB. Perfect person to call in right now. so we can talk about this draft because, you know, he follows college like no other. What's going on, Dujunne? It's been a long time. How you doing, bro? Especially down there in Florida with this craziness going on.
Doing good, man. Just trying to do my part and, doing everything that we're being asked to do and just trying to protect my family, myself, and my fellow humans. So, we're good, though, man. Just getting things done, giving me time to get some ideas on going forward and getting things done around the house. So, I'm happy with it. It's not bad at all, man.
I totally understand. I work at the Lowe's, but like I said, I'm an essential worker, so I work at the Lowe's, so I see all the home improvement guys getting a chance to do some of the work they haven't been able to get done now that they're, in the house. So that's good that you taking the time to do what needs to be done. But let's go ahead and get into some of this sports. I already ran down the draft picks in the order of the draft. I'm going to go ahead and get your 2 cents on the number 2 pick. I'm sold on Chase Young. I don't really have an issue with it, but I've heard some folks talk about Isaiah Simmons. Could you give me a little bit of insight on him? Because I haven't really watched any tape on him, and I just heard his name not too recently.
I mean, Isaiah Simmons is a great player. Is he a Chase Young? No, but he's definitely a disruptive player. He's a guy that can also be a good pass rusher, but he's no Chase Young. I mean, let's be real about it. That's why everybody's talking about Chase Young. I mean, and that's taking nothing away from him and his ability. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Taking nothing away from him, but I mean, I hear people talking about it, but you know my thoughts on that. I don't. You don't pass on generational talent, and I've seen Isaiah Simmons in Clemson and plays very well. A short tackler, guy gets downhill really quickly. He's had about 45 tackles and 3 tackles, I believe, for a loss, 1 sack, I believe, in 14 games. He started 14 of 15 games as a linebacker. And just that 1 year after playing in that 14 games, he had those stats. So, he's a good player, and that's not taking anything away from him. But again, he's no Chase Young. So, sure, yeah, it's nice to talk about if for some odd reason the Cincinnati Bengals decide to be the Cincinnati Bengals, or name insert worse or terrible team management, and they don't take a quarterback, and they decide to take Chase Young, which would really turn the draft upside down on its head. Maybe you think about taking a guy like that, but if Chase Young wasn't available, sure, he'd be my next pick. If I was another team and I don't have the second pick and I can't get Chase Young, absolutely he's the guy if I'm in need of a linebacker that can rush the passer, be aggressive, and really, just like Chase Young, not allow guys to get a hold of him, make sure tackles in the run game, also has versatility in the pass game. Sure, I take it, but Chase Young is there. I'm taking Chase Young. So there's no question where the Redskins should go, and unless somebody's backing up a 53-foot trailer full of groceries and litany of picks, and I'm talking like, give me somebody better have 2 first-rounders this year and a second-rounder this year, and quite frankly, you need to be giving me a 1 for next year. Maybe I might slide on that if you give me 2 1s this year and a 2 this year. I get a chance to get some of these other good players in this draft. I may not worry about picks next year, but you better be backing up one heck of a 53-foot trailer with some groceries and goodies to get me to move out of that second spot, because I'm not moving.
Yeah, I kind of feel the same way. I'll get your take since you're down in SEC country. The Tua talk, I don't know nothing about him. All I know is he got injured. He's come back, and he's, in the talks of being possibly number 1 pick, or there was rumors that the Redskins were checking him out and possibly thinking about him instead of Haskins. I've already said my piece about Haskins. I feel like he's a quality quarterback that can, that can develop and make this team better. I know you feel pretty much the same way. So what's your analysis of Tua? Because, like I said, I really don't, I don't follow college, so I don't know nothing about this guy.
My problem with Tua is the same problem, and I really don't want to go there because he's not Robert Griffin, but it's what he is like Robert is the not getting down and taking hits. And some of that was by design. I felt like maybe Nick had a little bit more confidence that he would do the smart thing and get down in some of these instances and not try to fight for the extra yard. But I felt like some of the play calling at some times during the game or leaving him in when you're up by 3 touchdowns was. And I understand the stats. I understand what it goes into with the Heismans and all of that stuff. But I mean, you can't leave your guy out there to get injured. He's got to do a better job of that. He reads and goes through his progressions very well. He stands tall in the pocket. He definitely has a very good understanding of where he needs to go with the ball. He doesn't really make that Rex Grossman, what the heck were you doing and where were you going with the football type of mistakes. He's very, very sure with the football. I do like him a lot. I like his mobility. I like him just as much as I like Jalen Hurts. I'm not 100% sold. I'm not 100% worried about the hip. I think if anybody knows any of these players that come from programs like Alabama, Ohio State, proven solid programs, they know how to go about their business and rehab and get back and be 100% confident that they can go out and play if need be when ready. So I'm not worried about the hip at all. I think it's a bunch of smoke screens to try to get people to not take them because I'm sure, and I know people that aren't up far enough to be able to get those picks have that ability and want that ability to be able to choose him if they so choose. So they're throwing things and people are throwing things out there to try to diminish so that he can fall down to them. The gamesmanship that goes into the draft. There's this whole talk about the Redskins looking into it. I don't give a crap who that's out there at Redskins Park that's talking about that. I'm going to step up and say right here, right now, that they're just hating and don't like Dwayne Haskins is the bottom line. And it's okay if you don't like him. You don't have to like him. But you know what? Your job is to report, not to sit here and act like fanboy and talk about people you don't like and try to come up with all these bogus stories on a guy who's out here trying to work his tail off. And it seems like certain people are trying to throw and sprinkle negativity in to try to unseat this guy. Like, the talk about Kyle Allen coming in and why he was brought in here and this and that is as if Haskins' job is in jeopardy. Look, man, if Haskins got to worry about a guy like Kyle Allen, then he's not your guy. I mean, let's be real. But I'm tired of the talking, tired of the negativity, and tired of the absolute horse crap that some of these reporters that I will leave nameless, you know who they are. They know who they are. The fans know who they are.
Yeah, we know who they
are. Who are talking about Haskins as if he can't get the job done. It's crap. It's absolute crap. Look at the tape. The tape don't lie. And I don't care if it was this year. But he showed enough this year that he has the ability. But again, you're talking about a coach and another interim coach that didn't really spend the time to allow them to open up anything when he got the opportunity. And then you never prepared the kid to come out here to be ready. So what do you think he's going to look like? I could have a perennial all-time great at quarterback. And if I don't care and don't really care about this guy and really don't want to work with this guy and not preparing him to be out here, but I'm going to throw him out here in haphazard situations and expect for magic, it's idiocy. I don't care if it's quarterback or anywhere. I mean, it's absurd to think that a guy's going to just go out there and just all of a sudden it's all going to click when you never prepared this guy to be out here and he hasn't had any work. I mean, come on, man. It's just common sense. But I don't mean to stand on my soapbox, but I'm tired of stupidity and I'm tired of some of these guys that kind of gotten in good with the fans are, hey, be a reporter or be prove himself, and he's going to show him. He's going to show him. You just sit back and watch, get your popcorn ready, because he's going to put on a show this year, and you can bet that.
I definitely agree that he's definitely going to be in the right spot at the right time. He has a coach that's, going to let him develop and going to let him be the number one. There's going to be some competition, but, he's going to help him develop and become a better player. We didn't see that in the previous regime.
Right. And that competition is healthy. Let's be real. You need competition. Everybody needs competition. That's what brings out the best in people. Complacency and keeping people comfortable, that's a problem in football. Comfortable people are usually don't work out to be great teams. I mean, you look at it in New England. How do you think they master, and how do you think they've mastered if they had the ability to keep repeating this cycle over and over again? Sure, they may not have big name players, but they generate competition. And from the starter to the backup knows that his butt can be out on the street in a blink of an eye if he doesn't come in here and perform and give 100% of his ability day in and day out. That's practice and the game. And we're going to get an opportunity to see that with this particular regime and his coaching staff and how they go about their business. That's what they created in Carolina. They created in Carolina when they were there. They didn't have a whole lot of big name players out there. They had guys that bought into the system, were grinders, workers. Bring your lunch pail to work and grind it out. And I expect them to do that with the teams they have here. And I think it's going to be good for this team. A lot of young players and a lot of young, hungry players coming from winning programs. That's what's important.
Agreed. Let's get into some of the questions going into this new season. I spoke about Curry and already, that he said he wants to restructure and hopefully become a lifelong Redskin. We've heard some same talk from Brandon Sheriff after he signed his franchise tag offer that they're supposedly negotiating now, and he wants to get a long-term deal done and remain a lifelong Redskin, or at least through this next signing period. He didn't say, he said he wanted to be a Redskin for life, but it could just be ploying, trying to get that contract done and see what his future is later on. I mentioned the Trent Williams situation. The rumors that 9 times out of 10 he will be traded on draft, the first night of the draft. What is your take on the offensive line situation and with Brandon Sheriff saying that he wants to get the long-term deal done?
It's good for Brandon. I think he needs to be here. He didn't have the best of years last year, but that's not taken away from the type of player he is. And then again, I think it's been said a lot from a lot of media pundits, guys that want to be here, and that's important. He wants to be here, and I think they'll get that done, and I'm okay with that. They have, they got Wes, and they've got Wes Martin here. They've got Ross Pierschbacher here. So they've got two young talented guys there. We really still don't really know what we have in Drawn or Christian. And I don't think it's a bad deal at the offensive line, but I think there's some real quality players. That's one thing about this draft. There's so many players and quality players, especially on the defense and offensive side of the ball, that you're really going to have your pick of the litter. It's just as far as picking offensive linemen, that's a pretty deep, especially at tackle. And there's a lot of guys that can play both, versatile, can be inside and out. I think where the Redskins need to focus is a guy that's primarily a left tackle or a right tackle, can do both type of thing. That's where they should probably focus. But I think there's some guys out there that'll be in later rounds that they'll be able to get third or fourth round. That'll be quality players that can have the ability to come in and play. So I really am not that down on the offensive line. You get Sheriff. Knowing that Sheriff wants to sign here long term is a good thing. Who knows how this whole camp thing and all that stuff's going to work out. But I think he's a guy that'll be in the building. And you want somebody like that that's going to buy in and want to be here. And then having that piece in place really just allows you to just focus on, okay, I need to solidify the left tackle, and I need to find a serviceable guy that can protect that side and at least hold his own out there and not get manhandled. So for the most part, I think if you look at the thing, the offensive line as a whole, I think they have enough depth, and they'll add that in the draft. And they also have a pretty good nucleus of guys. I think we both understand that a lot of the mishaps and the woes from the offensive line stem from the play design and scheme. And I think something with Ron Rivera and his staff, they understand the players they have, and they're going to try to put those players in the best position to win according to their skill set. And I think that'll be a major improvement in seeing this team be more successful offensively and being able to score points, be consistent, retain drives, and take time off the clock.
Totally agree. The scheme is going to be set up for the players to take advantage of their strengths and not get put in situations where their weaknesses get exploited. So it's definitely going to be an interesting situation with the offensive line because, like you say, I'm not really saying that they need a lot of work, but you got to get that left tackle. I think Christensen played well at right tackle. I liked him when he came in for Moses. And that's another question mark for me. Do we continue to ride it out with Moses, or do we go ahead and just close the book on him? Because I've mentioned before, I think his wife beats him in the offseason because that dude be injured coming into training camp. And I think he's an abused spouse and he needs to cry out or do something because you can't come into training camp already with a bad knee and a bruised hamstring or something already, man. I like seeing Christensen on the right side. He looked, more comfortable on the right side. But you got to get that left tackle.
I agree. And I'll tell you this about Morgan. I can't really say a whole lot. But I will say that for the last couple of seasons, this guy's been picking and choosing of what he's going to get fixed so that he can be out there. And sometimes that's to a detriment, because he's not able to be out there for 16 games. But he also doesn't want to miss a whole lot of games either. He's probably missing less than what he would have if he would address everything. And then he's had some pretty tough injuries that, you know how it is. You have a major injury and it starts to compound the other little nagging injuries because you're so focused and you're compensating a lot for the major injury that you have. Yeah. So I think that is something that has been coming in the last couple of seasons. I think this season is probably a season where he'll come in and be a lot more healthy than he has been in the last two, and it should be helpful. And then we've talked about this at training camps in OTAs about the softness of practice and guys being callous. You heard guys like Brian Mitchell talk about it. You heard guys like Jeff Bostic when he has an opportunity when he's on the radio. He talked about this callous, guys being callous, and I think that's a problem. Guys are working out, and I don't doubt these guys are working hard, but when you got to be in training camp and practice, just trying to protect people and not doing any hitting and not allowing the guys to take bumps and things like that, you don't build up that callous, that resistance to things. You don't get your body in shape for football. And then when you go out in the first game, you're giving it everything you got. Stuff on the line then. You got to get wins. You don't want to get behind the eight ball. Guys are giving it their all, and things happen. A little nagging injury starts out as a little nagging injury, and you're trying. By the time you start to get into football shape, you can't really play as much as you like because you're dealing with little nagging things. You're not playing as well as you like, and then those things get compounded. And the next thing you know, you end up with either a major injury or injury that's going to be enough to slow you down and potentially keep you out. So I think we see a lot of these things, a lot of the changes that the Redskins made, front office-wise, coaching staff-wise. You see what Ron Rivera is doing. I think the whole entire umbrella, the whole entire bubble will be good, not just for how it looks to the fans, how the team operates with the fans, but it's going to be great for the players. I think you'll see less of these little stupid nagging injuries that end up turning into big injuries. Because honestly, as much as you can work out all day, but
Very true, very true. Another friend of the offensive line is the tight end. I spoke a little bit about the tight end situation with Jordan Reed, no, not re-signed, and Vernon Davis retiring. There's been some rumors of O.J. Howard out of Tampa Bay possibly being traded. You know, talking about, I've seen some clickbait articles talking about Trent Williams possibly being traded for O.J. Howard. But that's not going to happen. For one, Tampa Bay only has $15 million under the cap. Trent Williams' contract is $14 million. They have more holes to fill. They're not going to give up that after signing Tom Brady to his $50 million deal. So y'all can go ahead and squash that. But there's also been some word of Trey Burton. I believe he's been released by Chicago. I'm not really familiar with him, but he's kind of heard a Jordan Reed prototype, injury prone, can't stay healthy, has a lot of potential. Wouldn't touch him. So what about O.J. Howard? You're down there in Florida. What you think about that? I know you had some high marks on him when he came out of college.
Absolutely. Saw him in the Senior Bowl. Got a chance to talk with him. Really savvy guy. Another thing with this team, if I was a GM of another team, I'd take my chances. Right now, this team needs a tight end that's going to be on the field regularly. There's no reason to trade, and I understand he's had this share of a few concussions, but it's mainly the injuries. I can't put up with that. Not when I can find several tight ends that can do what he's doing that are in the draft. There's a couple that I'll just throw out there. First and foremost, I really am Thaddeus Moss guy, 6'2", 250, LSU. Kind of a Jordan Reed type. He can block very well, runs very good routes, very tall, goes after the ball at the highest point, runs very good routes. He's a mismatch for a lot of guys there. I like Devin Asiasi. He's a UCLA tight end as well, 6'3", 257. Another guy that is the same. Big guy, can block. He also runs very good routes. Asiasi was placed not just, in the slot, but they had him out of the two. They had him, in 5 wide receiver sets. They had him all over the place. I thought he was a good prospect as well. Harrison Bryant, another guy, 6'5", 243, out of Florida Atlantic. He was in the Senior Bowl. Thought he did an excellent job in the Senior Bowl. Really showcased a lot of his abilities. He might need to work on a little bit on being consistent in blocking. But overall, as a receiving tight end, a guy who can run routes and get separation, knows where he needs to be and knows what he needs to do to get himself in position to be a target for his quarterback. He did a very good job of that in the Senior Bowl, showed that in the Senior Bowl practice. Also in the game, I really liked him as well. And the last one, I don't think I'm going to get his name right, but he's a Hawaiian guy out of Portland State. He's 6'2", 240. Charlie Tiamapua. I'm not sure. It's a Hawaiian last name. You can look it up for yourself, out of Portland State. Also another guy, very good receiving tight end. And my biggest problem with him was his consistency in blocking in the running game. Otherwise, though, he runs very good routes. If you watch a lot of his highlights, some of his film, but when I watched his film, he wasn't really targeted a lot, but when he was targeted, he was definitely open. It was very difficult for guys to get to him because of his size and his height, his arm length, his ability to attack the ball and catch it, not allowing guys to really, manhandle him. They're under-radar guys. These guys are kind of guys that aren't being talked about a whole lot, but are guys you can pick up later in the round that can really go right in there and start for you. Those are guys that I like, and I don't think that a guy like Trey Burton, injury prone, and a guy like O.J. Howard, as much as I like his abilities, he hasn't been on the field enough for me in Tampa. So why would it change here in Washington? Tampa's warm 90% of the time, so there's no excuses there. So why am I going to bring him to a climate where it can get muddy, it can get cold? Guy already has an injury history. He's likely not to play a full 16 games for you. There's no reason to go down that road. Get somebody new or someone that doesn't have that type of track record. And if it turns out that way, then it's then, you didn't know things happen, and that's what it is. But to get a guy that's injury prone, bring him into a position where you have struggled because of the injury bug, and then this guy's injury prone, has been injured most of his career and hasn't played a full season. You bring him here and you think that, we've been down this road before, trying to think that we're going to, change the narrative with an individual, especially when it comes down to tight ends and things of that nature, of their injury cycle. And they are what they are. And if you could spare the room, sure. But you need a guy that can be there for you game in and game out, week in and week out. And that isn't feasible for me. It doesn't seem to be the right choice there to trade for him, or either one of those guys for that matter, to be on your football team. They just haven't proved enough.
I feel you. That's what Chris Howell said on the feed, that the Redskins have stopped showing and either beat either one of them because of injury concerns. But tight end is definitely going to be a very key role on this team. I'm glad that you brought up those college guys that have impressive size, and if they run routes and can block well, that's definitely going to be Dwayne Haskins' best friend along with the whole offense. I'm interested to see, because we've already seen how normally the defense gets started, gets things going at the beginning of the season. The offense takes a little bit of time to get going. I mentioned earlier, you got a young quarterback, new offensive coordinator, new coaching staff, new mentality, new culture. So it's going to, take a little time for the offense to get itself together. The defense is really going to be the linchpin with Jack Del Rio coming in, 4-3 base, hybrid defense. But the thing that's the intangibles is what's really going to have me watching the most to see how the team performs. Because we saw the change from when Bill Callahan took over the team. It was more attention to detail. The team looked more prepared. It looked like they were ready to go out there and actually win a game and not just, participate in a game. But I'm anxious to see how this team comes together if there is a season. Because with this situation, I'm not sure what's going to happen. So hopefully there will be a football season. I don't know what's going to happen going forward, but this team isn't as bad as everyone, makes them out to be when you have the right person driving the bus. So, in my opinion, this team is already a leg up with Ron Rivera being the head coach, and the fact that they haven't selected a GM and said they weren't going to select a GM until after the draft lets you know that he's in full control and he's, has the keys and he has full run of it. So, I'm anxious to see what happens with this upcoming draft. But what do you see? What major culture change do you see that needs to be made for this team to be a contender and to actually make some noise and be a quality team, or get back to being a quality team that we want to root for and cheer for and go into the playoffs and have a chance to get back to the Super Bowl?
I know fans are probably going to take this the wrong way, but some may see exactly what I'm talking about here. I like Dunbar, but Dunbar is D'Angelo Hall, and that has no place in this locker room at this moment. It just doesn't. And it really, honestly, it has a virus-like effect. If you have someone in there that, okay, yes, Dunny, good player, would love to have him on my team. Reality is, though, that he has some weird injuries, well, not on the field, but when he is out there, he balls. But it's okay to be confident as long as that doesn't spill over and become diva-ish, and then these young guys who come from programs with structure, and you think you're going to defy the structure, you're going to do what you want to do, it creates a silent divide. And what I like, and the biggest thing about Rivera being here, is that everyone, it's the old additive in marching band. If you ever seen the movie Drumline, one band, one sound. And that's what needs to happen here with the Washington Redskins. You got guys who are your leaders. Those guys are going to speak. But everybody that, bro, he wrote his own check. And he ran his mouth. You wrote a check that you couldn't cash, and you got shipped out of here. And I don't care what they got for him. It just can't be tolerated anymore. That type of, I'm going to manhandle the organization to get what I want type of nonsense, you haven't won a darn thing. You have no right to manhandle a stinking person. No one in this organization. I don't care. You have no right. You haven't done anything. And Dunny hadn't been on the field enough. I know he performed when he was out there, but let's be real, man. He hasn't been out there that much either. And really is a guy, it looks good on paper, but you can't really count on him to be there for 16 games. So I think that in itself is a huge, huge change for this organization, because we all know they have the players and the horses that come from winning programs that understand what it takes, what work it takes off the field to get the job done, and that will permeate, it has permeated through a lot of the team. But you still got guys that are doing the work but are talented but want to do things and want to be individuals. And that can't exist, especially when you're a loser. You have no right to, there's no individuals on losing teams. There's nobody better than someone else on a losing team. And for Dunny to be that way when he hasn't even played that much was another problem. Because that starts affecting the other guys on the team when you start seeing that. We've seen that over the years here in Washington when guys get like that. So I think that in itself will be a huge change. The rest of it will take care of itself because the talent is there. Ron Rivera, I think I've said that over the last couple of years, this team has done an excellent job of drafting guys. They've done an excellent job of drafting guys over the last couple of years. So that's not a problem. Now it's having the head man be the head man without having upper management meddling into what's going on. And I know people want to talk about Dan Snyder, but I don't want to hear that no more either. Just as much as I don't want to hear the argument about Jordan not being the best player and then talking about these other guys, that's not a topic of conversation. I'm done talking about Dan Snyder and the meddling stuff. That's old news. Stop riding with BS that other people are spewing because they can't do real work and get real stories out. So miss me with that.
Yeah, we not even gonna go there tonight. We not even gonna go there tonight. All the manufactured BS they put out there, because we know they do it and they're professionals at it and they get off on it and they get paid off on it. So it is what it is. But yeah, we're gonna focus on the X's and O's here, because I feel similarly to the way we normally click on it. That when you have the right guy leading it, it's all going to come together. I mean, we can go reference back to the Nats last year. Going 19-31 in the first 52 games. Everybody wrote them off, but you had the right manager in the position to make these guys. They made a few acquisitions, got on the same page, and like you say, it was one voice, one team, and they all was going in the same way, and they ended up winning the championship. Not saying the Redskins are going to do that, so don't take me as saying they're going to win a Super Bowl, but the mentality of your leader and the drive that they have and the mentality that they have does help determine how your team is going to go and where your team is going to go. So I feel like this team is in a good position to make some things happen. The draft is right around the corner. There are some holes going to be filled, as you mentioned. The number 2 pick, you have a chance to get a game-changing talent that can, add to this quality defense already. You have a new regime coming in. You've seen what they've done before in another locale in a similar situation. I'm not saying it's going to be the same thing as Carolina, but he knows what he's doing in this situation. And I don't have any reservations about what's going on right here. They do draft Trace Young, which, like I said, it looks like they are going to, unless Cincinnati does something Bengalish. We don't know. But I feel like he's going to be an asset to this team. You got a young core that's hungry with a coach that's hungry to get back to coaching after he, got fired from Carolina last year. So it's definitely going to be an interesting storyline going forward. I'm upset about training camp because I was definitely trying to get down there this year, again for the second year in a row. But, with this virus and stuff going on, we don't know. They're having virtual training camp. I'm not sure what that means. I saw a couple of the players were doing individual drills, running hills and doing stuff like that. But we all know it's no replacement and no substitute for NFL training camp. And the camaraderie, the chemistry, the plays, and getting to know your teammates and knowing how they play and the chemistry that's around it. So that's why I say it's going to be very interesting how things go forward. But I really don't know what else to say about this draft, man. I mean, like I said, I'm not a big college guy. I know they have opportunity to fill some holes. I mentioned some of the spots that I feel were, because I guess I should ask you also. I listed linebacker, O-line, tight end, safety, cornerback, and a backup QB. What are your main needs for this team with these 6 draft picks that they have this year? 7 draft picks.
Tight end is top of the list for me. And then they've done some things. I like to see some depth at corner. There's a couple guys that I like out there at the cornerback position. They've got some guys that can ball out there. And then I don't know if you need you bring in Kyle Allen. I don't know if you need another backup quarterback. Obviously, I know people have talked about the edge, but I really don't. I think it's tight end. I think it's offensive tackle, and then cornerback or wide receiver. If you want to do those two, those aren't in any particular order, other than the fact that I think tight end and offensive tackle are the top 2 that need to be filled and should be filled. Try to fill with the best player available, if possible, and then I think it's cornerback and wide receiver. But a wide receiver to me is a luxury. If a guy falls to you, I think you have to try to get him. I'll just throw out a couple names that I've been looking at. Michael Pittman Jr., 6'4", 223 from USC. I like the guy. Got a chance to talk to him for a long time at the Senior Bowl. He's very smart. He didn't really do anything at the Senior Bowl. I think he had a little nagging injury or whatever, but the guy could be a really good complement to what the Redskins already have. And I also like KJ Hill out of Ohio State, the 6-foot wide receiver. He does a really good job of getting himself in position to make plays and catch footballs. Matter of fact, he makes some really good plays. He also does a very good job of blocking as well. Devin Duvernay and Denzel Mims are guys that I really like at that position. But those are the positions that I really like. Like I said, tight end, offensive tackle being the top 2. So other than that, man, that's available, buddy.
I feel you. I mean, with the wide receiving core, I like the wide receiver core. It's young, but
I do too.
Yeah, I think that the combination of all of them being young, along with Haskins, and they can mature and develop together, I think that makes for good football. So I mean, if they want to reach out and maybe get a free agent or maybe get a young talented wide receiver out of the draft, you can never have too many talented wide receivers, especially with the practice squad. But I like the young receivers, McLaurin, Harmon, and the Sims boys. I like them. They got size, they got speed, they got hunger, and they got shake and wiggle to make people miss, which is what you need in this game right now.
Latimer to that.
Say that again.
Cody Latimer to that. Add Cody Latimer to that as well. The former New York Giant who was brought in. I think to me Trey Quinn experience should be over. Not any disrespect to that guy. I just don't think he fits. Because Steven Sims is better than him at the slot. Then you can add another guy, another wide receiver just for luxury. But I do, again, I agree with you. I do like the wide receiver core that they have. It's all about using guys correctly. And think about what Ron Rivera had in Carolina at wide receiver after Steve Smith. I mean, not a whole lot to work with there. But yet they still made plays. And even when Steve was gone, they still made plays. They didn't have a whole lot. They had one dominant, one guy, one target that was their main. They didn't have the guy that mix, and boom, you have a complete, solid wide receiver core. So I don't think it's a detriment as people make it out to be. I think they've got a lot of talent. I think a lot of people are overlooking Calvin Harmon. I said that when they drafted him last year, and I'll continue to say it. He doesn't look, he doesn't put together the 40 time, but it's his understanding of running routes and what he does with his work to manipulate the corner. And he sells a lot of things very, very well. That's how he's able to get the space. That his arm length, his ability to catch the ball, his ability to tack the ball, really helps him in his abilities to be a solid wide receiver, because he's not going to blow you away with the trying to run the deep ball and speed. But he's got good game speed. But most importantly, it's the execution of running the route. That's where I tell my nephew all the time. That's where you're gonna win cornerbacks. Speed ain't everything when it comes to wide receiver. If you know how to work the corner and know how to get leverage, so that you can generate the space you need to catch the football, and nobody can stop you. They're gonna have a hard time. You're gonna have opportunities to catch the ball, and I feel like Calvin Harmon is that guy. But yeah, I love their wide receiving core, and I think with Ron Rivera having that talent, it's more talent than he's ever had, in my opinion, in Carolina at the wide receiver position, and a lot of positions on this football team offensively, and defensively, especially defensively. But I think there's more in the cupboard than people let on.
Agreed. I'm actually watching the NFL Network with the mock drafts, and most everybody has the Redskins taking Chase Young at number 2, which I feel is the best move. I hope it's the right move, and I hope it's the move that they make. But we went over a little bit over an hour. I'm about to get ready to get up out of here. We had to jump on to talk some NFL and some Redskins. Let the folks know what you got going on, DujunneaB, and let them know about your podcast.
Oh, man, it's going to be in the next couple of weeks. I'll be having my colleague, Karita Parks, on, and we're going to have an interesting topic. It's going to be dealing with players and their public relations people, their PR people, their publicists. The nightmare that these guys have, their agents, that these guys have with these players having a lot of time on their hands can get into some trouble, whether it's IG, whether it's Snapchat, whatever it may be. And, we saw the thing with Kyle Larson and that whole thing. What does it take, when you're dealing with this COVID-19, you're not allowed to be, you're not with the players on a regular basis. How do you keep in contact with your players? What is a good PR person supposed to do in this situation to get their client's name out there, especially for the draftees? This is a difficult time for them. So getting their name out there, getting their brand out there, because although they are being drafted by a team, each individual player is their body is their own personal business. So they have to get their brand out there, market themselves, whether it's for sponsorships or to pitch themselves to teams. So it's a little bit different process. So we're going to talk about that, and we're going to have some people on next week as well, just talking about what's going on with different teams in the draft after this draft here, and how they fit. We're just trying to come up with creative ways of giving you guys something to listen to when there's no sport. It's a difficult spot, but we're doing the best that we can. You can catch that all on SportsJourney.com. There's lots of material there. My colleagues are putting out podcasts, Lake Lewis as well. So a lot of good stuff for you guys to listen to, and we're trying to do our best to generate some stuff that'll be interesting for you guys and give you some time to pass the time with something good and something to maybe spark some conversations with your families or maybe phone conversations with your buddies about some things about sports. And in this difficult time, that's kind of what we need to kind of take our mind off the 24-hour news cycle of doom and gloom that you can kind of feel you're watching the news, too much.
No doubt. You are so correct. I only give myself a 15-minute time limit, and I turn the news off because it'll have you tripping out with all of the stuff that's going on. But as always, man, appreciate you taking the time out to give us a call and give us some of your great insight and some of your NCAA knowledge, because you know I know nothing about some of these college players until they get to the pros. So as always, appreciate it, bro. You stay safe, and I'll holler at you later on, man.
You too, man. You stay safe, and hope and pray that the family continues to be healthy. And for all of you listeners out there, man, you guys be safe. Continue to abide by the laws. And I know it's not easy, but you're doing yourself a favor, and you're doing your fellow man a favor, and older family members a favor as well by doing this. I know it's weird, but we'll all get through this together, and we'll be better for it at the end of the day.
Yes, sir. Appreciate the words, man. You have a good night, and I'll talk to you later on, bro.
You too, brother. Good night, man.
All right, night. All right, as always, we love DujunneaB calling in, giving his insight and expertise. You make sure you check him out on his podcast. You can catch him on Not Bland 21 on everything. DujunneaB Bland on Facebook. Check him out. The Breakdown on all platforms available. And you can also check him out on SportsOTHP.com. Robbie has a link to his blogs also, so you can check him out on there. Make sure you go check it out for all of our shows, archive articles, videos, Facebook Lives, conversations that we have with any and everybody that comes through the network. So make sure you check it out. Make sure you check out the latest content. I might get back to writing with so much non-sports going on. I might get back into writing myself. I ain't really too much to write about, so we'll see. I'll leave that to DujunneaB and his professional colleagues. But I appreciate y'all checking us out. I'm about to go ahead and end this Facebook Live feed now. I appreciate all the engagement. Robbie, appreciate you sharing it. I'm going to put it out there on my YouTube channel, Carol Porter III, 3 eyes, not the number 3. And I'll make sure I get it out there to some of the groups that Robbie didn't get a chance to share to, that he's not a member of, that I am. So DC Sports Out of Politics, it's not just a catchphrase. It's not just a motto. It's what we do. CP3 live from the lab, and then this Facebook Live feed right